Good evening, Liberia. It's Carol Ann in Canada. Today I have been thinking about one lady from way back in the day in Liberia. She was working as a nurse on the River Cess, Liberia Mission River Cess Mission Station. She was young, she was from Britain, and as teenagers, we really were happy to have her come there. She had a lot of life and vitality. She could laugh. She had her camera with her all the time. She was taking pictures. And also she could just hang out with us. Every evening, she would come over to our house before dinner time and we would play croquet. She was lots of fun. We had a good time with her. Her name was Diane Behrens. Any of y'all know Diane Behrens, where she is in the world? Or if the Lord has taken her home, y'all please let me know, because that's one lady I would love to know, have an update about her. I will never forget the day she had a conversation with my mother. She said in her good British accent, "Margaret, I don't want to work at River Cess anymore. I want to go to Gapley." Oh, that was bad news for my mother. My mother had 3 teenage children, and she wanted her to stay because she was like the youth director for our family. At the time, I could make hard head, like teenagers can do. And my mother had some relief having Diana there with us. So my mother looked at her and she said, "Diane, why? What does Gapley have in Nimba that River Cess does not have?" And Diane will say to my mother, she will say, "A road, Margaret. They have a road." Oh, I was thinking about that today. How long ago was that? It was before I was 20, and now I am 67 years old. So it's almost 50 years ago. The main problem back then was no road. Actually, back in those days, there really was no road. You could walk from the end of the road. You could go carrying on in a footpath. You could walk to Buchanan and catch a car from there to Monrovia if you wanted. But the only way out of that place in those days was by a small airplane. But then they put a road through, and I'm telling you, when I was, by the time I left home when I was 18 years old and I came back to visit and sit down with my mother and my father for 1 year, I think I was 22 years old at the time. They had made a road. And I was so impressed because we could get in a truck and go along the road down to River Cess. I had the experience of going down that road. I also had the experience of going on that road in rainy season time. I was coming back from Monrovia down to River Cess, and the night fell, and so it was very dark. So we had flashlights with us. But as the truck was going along, they got stuck in one big mud hole. Now, that was my first experience of being on a River Cess road with a mud hole. I'm telling you, that's an experience I would never forget. Oh, nobody warned me. I was sitting in the cab of the truck, and they said, "Okay, everybody get down now. We are not going anywhere tonight." I said, "Oh, what?" So I knew that the mission was, I could walk there by now from where we got stuck to walk to the mission, maybe, I don't know, maybe 1 hour walk. So it was okay. But when I got down from the cab of the truck, my foot went down in the mud. I didn't know it was just going to go down, down, down. I was thinking, what? I'm going to get out of here or not? So I had my other foot still in the truck, and quickly I pulled my first foot up, but no shoe. I won't bore you with the rest of the story, except to say I couldn't imagine walking for 1 hour with no shoe in the dark. Oh, so I got out of the truck and I stuck my arm down, followed the hole down into the mud, and retrieved my shoe from there. Oh, the memories are funny, but they are real. And it's very painful. 50 years gone by, and to know there is still no good road to River Cess. Oh, that's hard. That is so hard. And as I think about election time coming up this week, second time round elections, my heart cry to God is this. I don't know who to vote for. If I was in Liberia and a full Liberian to vote, I wouldn't know who to vote for. But I would make my prayer like this. Oh God, give me wisdom when it's time to put my ballot in. Who one of them, two men running, who is going to take on his heart to put a road to River Cess? How can River Cess ever be progressive? How can people ever, reach out if there is no road? Is just like Diane Behrens said 50 years ago, Margaret, it's a road we need. It's a road. There's no road. You see, she was young. She was wanting connection with people. It was for social reasons. It wasn't for business. But for social reasons, for business, for health and safety, for getting to the hospitals. What good to build hospitals if you can't get there self? Okay, that's all. And believe me, when I say this is not a political page, please believe me. What I'm talking here is common sense for a good setting for living and raising your children. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.